Welcome to the Life Agency Builders podcast. My name is Julius Gilger.
And I'm Clay Sweet.
And we are excited to bring you another episode of what it takes to build a life insurance agency, guys. Today we have a special guest on, our friend Eric Schmidt. Welcome, Eric Schmidt, to the call.
Thank you very much.
Hey, man. So let's jump in. And for those of you guys that don't know Eric is actually one of the newest integrity partners. Now, you might be asking, what's an integrity partner? Integrity is a private equity firm that allows you to partner with them. So that way you become a managing partner and allows you to have an exit strategy, right? When you're starting a business, you want to have an exit strategy. And Eric, so congratulations on your brand new partnership. What's that done for you and your family? What's that like?
Thanks for having me on, guys. I appreciate it, Clay. Appreciate it, Julia. So amazing opportunity, frankly, just getting started, but being a partner with Integrity, who is the country's largest distributor of life, health, and wealth products, and being with those men and women that are truly icons in our space has been a amazing blessing. I had the opportunity to meet a lot of them face to face, and looking forward to the next opportunity to do that. But just to be just plugged in with those individuals and how it's going to positively affect all of us that we're all connected is just an amazing opportunity. And the way that we're going to be able to grow with their IT, with their people and culture, and just the hyper growth. Obviously everyone saw, well, not everyone, but it's public information with their latest injection of funds, the 1.2 billion from Silver Lake, and for a minority share in the company. So it's just an amazing opportunity.
Awesome, man. So let's give the viewers a little bit of a backdrop on who you are, what you did before. So if you can share, what did you do before? What industry were you in? And, what kind of got you started in looking into life insurance, being an agent, building an agency, for those that don't know?
Sure. So I'll go quick because I'm old. So there is a little bit of a story there, but I'm 49 years old. And I was first introduced to the world of life insurance back in 2008, and spent just a little time then doing it. And then spent the last, when I graduated from the University of Connecticut, I spent 23 years in the automotive business, retail automotive, selling, procuring, liquidating Chevys and pre-owned cars. So I did that for 23 years over 3 dealerships. I was at another dealership just for a short period of time. And after 2008, when the housing crash happened, and Carrie and I are getting ready to have our second child, I kind of went back to the car business. That was my safe zone. That's where I felt comfortable. I had health insurance. I had demos. For those of us in the car business, they understand that. But it's kind of like, I've said this before, it's kind of like these like golden handcuffs where I didn't think there's really anything better out there. You start making 100 grand a year, 200 grand a year. It sounds real sexy on paper, but in Connecticut, and I'm sure other parts of the country as well, it's kind of just enough to get you into trouble. So when I started seeing on social media in 2018 what people were doing in this space, I was just like, my gosh, if I could replace my W-2 income and be able to dictate my own schedule, it would be like the best. It would be like amazing, because I was never in a spot, Clay, to go backwards financially, like on what I was depositing on a monthly basis, in order to go way, way, way ahead. I needed to transition at worst case scenario, even money, and then build it up from there. And then when I saw the opportunities in this space, I was like, man, I think I can do it. I can replace what I'm doing in that W-2 world and dictate my own schedule in this world. So going back, a few years, I did that, and I could have always gone back to the car business. So I did, I'd say I burned the bridges and burned the boats, but I to be really honest, I could have always gone back to that spot. But I just knew that, like I said, I'm 49. I couldn't do that for another 20 years. Our youngest is 10 years young now, and I just couldn't do it. So I took those 70 hours a week, that 60, 70 hours a week in the dealership, and the 60, 70 hours a week I was doing this full time. And once I was able to do drop the dealership and do this full time, I just plugged those 60 hours on top of the 60 I was already doing. So, we were able to grow really fast and serve a lot of families.
So Eric, you're a top producer. You came over from the car space, and you immediately started selling at a high level. But obviously, we all want that exit strategy. So, at what point did you decide that you wanted to start building an agency? And if you could, kind of a two-part question, what did you do in the beginning? You said 60 to 70 hours a week, so you probably moved that work ethic over here. What did that look like as far as on the building side? And then maybe you could share with, things that you did in the beginning as opposed to what you're doing now and what that evolution looks like as far as staffing and, just all the other things that we as managers have to deal with on a daily basis to grow.
When I passed my exam in December of 18, like I told you guys, I was already doing 60, 70 in the showroom. And then, so I did the other 60, 70 doing this. So it's really, I don't say full-time, part-time, I say full-time, full-time. And then the other, 30, 40 hours a week I slept, and that was it. So in mid-March, that's when I gave my notice at the dealership, and I started full-time in this in April of 19. And when I first got together with all the leaders in February of 19, what I was heard and what I was told was people, the things that they would have done differently is they would have started hiring right away, and they would have got staff right away. So I right away started sharing with my warm market. I amped up my social media presence as much as I could. I went to 5K on Facebook and started getting involved with Instagram, and really started focusing on LinkedIn. And then after a long search in September of 19 is when I hired my first staff member. And that first staff member was everything. It's a female, it's Ashki. She, did, social media, thank you cards, scheduling. I mean, everything, right? And then we got office space right away. And so kind of to, make it a real company, a real business. And so that's what we did right away, Clay, is we hired staff and hired warm market and got involved on social media, and didn't want to be that secret agent, is what sometimes people say. Don't be a secret agent. There's millions and millions and millions of people that are in a tight spot, don't like their current 1099, don't like their current W-2. So I knew that if I could what's the right word, guys? If I could prove the model to myself, right? If I could say, hey, it is possible if you're making 20, 30K a month that you don't have to be in that spot, especially if you're not building your own legacy or building your own company. There's other options. I just didn't know where else to look. And I consider myself a fairly smart person, but the people that I hang around with are a little bit smarter. So when I was able to make that transition, I poured it all back in, and I talk about this, but I always wanted to be in that position of yes. I always wanted to be able to say yes to any opportunity, marketing, staff, office, leads, travel, professional business travel. I always wanted to be in a position of yes. So I knew that there was going to be some mistakes along the way, but I didn't want to say no to anything, because I knew I'd have more wins than losses, just because I knew that I could outwork it. So, and I always wanted to be that hardest worker in the room. So.
Awesome, man. So Eric, obviously your work ethic is undeniable. I mean, you're working sounds like two full-time jobs, right? Your actual job and then your business, right? So how long did it take you to realize that building an agency, being in this space, in this industry is your future, and you decided to get rid of the W-2 job?
Yeah, so on top of the car dealership, I'm also a son to my mom and dad. I'm also a husband to my wife of 24 years, and I'm a dad to my 3 young children, 16, 13, and 10. And I was also a football coach, full-time football coach as well, on top of all that stuff.
You're a busy dude.
I think, what's that?
You're a busy dude.
And I think a lot of people do a really poor time of managing their time or inventorying their time. I think people do a really poor job of that. So that's something I really became a master at, and really maximizing all the time. And then when staff came along, leveraging that time to not take time off, but to continue to leverage it. But when I saw the deposits, when it became real, right? Because when you see, when it became real in my bank, right? And I could pay my mortgage, pay my car payments, go to the grocery store. Like my dad always says, and he was born in 1939, he's like, how much of that can you bring to the grocery store? That's always his comeback to any financial claims. How much can you bring to the grocery store? Once it became real, I'm just like, well, there's no way that, I mean, this is a no-brainer. It's all a numbers game. You know, people are reaching out for help. You reach out to those people that are looking for the help. We can get into a lot of different things, whatever you guys want to talk about. But, if you're unwilling to, let excuses or delays or distractions get in your way, there's no way that you can't build yourself an extremely profitable business extremely quickly by just not letting any of those things get in your way.
So Eric, I kind of want to touch on what you just talked about, because I think that in something that we've been kind of talking about amongst our leadership is time management. And, everyone says they work hard, but if you were to probably break down their day to day, if you kind of held a mirror up, it wouldn't be as much time as they thought that they were working. So could you just kind of, and this might be a little bit of an in-depth question, but kind of like, what does your day look like as far as, or maybe in the beginning, what your day looked like to grow the agency, what time you woke up, what your goals were throughout the day? Like how many people were you trying to talk to on a daily basis? Did you have anything set up to where like you had like goals set up that you needed to hit on a daily basis, weekly basis, monthly basis, or kind of you just share like what the daily life of Eric Schmidt looks like as far as growing the agency is concerned?
Sure. So I really shut everything down. I shut everything down, and was just helping families and helping agents and helping other people that were in tough spots. And kind of like what I touched on before, if I could prove it to myself, I knew there was a lot of other people in, those higher paid W-2 jobs, but had no life outside of their job, that was looking for another opportunity. But it does require work. I mean, this isn't like, someone that's 6 foot tall playing on an 8 foot rim. I mean, this is real work. And so waking up early, whether that's 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. So like when I first started, like I didn't have any of these, it's all this is, obviously a lead driven business. So I had to find where I could get those leads. And so going into the system at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, waiting for those leads to drop in is when I got up, and I got up early to get those leads when they dropped in. And then I started organizing, preparing for that. So as soon as that 7:30 a.m. Time came, I could jump right on the phone. So I mean, the first time my eyes wake up, that's it. I'm done with the sleeping part, and I wake up, and whether that's 3, 4, 5, 6 o'clock, that's it. I'm up and going at it. And I'll keep going until I literally pass out at night. So you have your money making time, which is that 7:30 a.m. till 9 p.m. time slot. And then you have your non-money making time when you're building the agency from 9 p.m. till 7:30 a.m. When I was out in the field full time, as soon as I got back in the car, there was a list waiting for me, okay, that I hand wrote out of everybody I needed to talk to that day. And I didn't know any other way, so I was like, all right, I'm going to call Julius. I'm going to call Clay. If I get their voicemail, I'm going to send them a text, and I'm just going to keep going to the next person, the next person, the next person. And just, I wanted that omnipresence, thing. And, when I was on social media talking about how many families I helped today, or how many agents I helped, with that, they helped agents today. I wanted that. I'm like, I always just wanted to be that omnipresence, like, and it wasn't fake work, because I was checking in Massachusetts. I was checking in Connecticut, I was doing this, doing that. And so I think it's that always on type of mentality, Clay, of getting better, listening to podcasts like this, listen to other things that are inside our space, to continually to stay motivated, stay on it, and get smarter. I wasn't a big product person per se, and I never was in the automotive business either. I figured the cars could go fast and they could stop quick, and hopefully they had good fuel economy. But I never really got into exact horsepower, exact fuel economy, exact, torque and, foot pound, and all that other crazy stuff. I was just like, hey, let me meet the people and we'll go from there. So in this, I just wanted to get in front of as many people as I could, no matter the hour of the day. And then when being in the East Coast, as 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock struck here, then I started working west, because so I picked up those hours moving west. And then people on the West Coast that I work with now, they start earlier on the East Coast and they work west coming back. So we do try to take advantage of the time zones there too.
Awesome, Eric. So our job, or our goal, I should say, there's twofold. I would say our job is to, give viewers value, make sure that they're getting something out of this so they can go out there, build a life insurance agency for themselves, help their families, help the families in their community. So our goal right now is a road to $1 million a month. Okay. So what would you tell the people that are looking or have started to build an agency that maybe are struggling, right? Maybe they've hired 20 people, maybe they've hired 30, whatever the amount of people they are, but they can't get them going. What would you say to them to get them moving, get them building their agency faster and helping more people? How would you help those folks?
So great question. And I did terrible with this. You guys can hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So I did terrible with this in the beginning. So I played college football, right? So I had to run a certain speed. I had to lift a certain amount of weight. So if I had to squat, 405 pounds 10 times, I wouldn't practice with 400 pounds, for 10 times. I'd practice with a lot more weight at a lot higher reps. So when it came time for test day, I could do it, right? And if I had to run a sub 4.7 540, it would be a lot of practicing, drilling, rehearsing, all those little things. So
dude, hold on. Did you ever run a 4.7 540? I just got to know, because you're a big guy.
Yeah, I ran under 4. I was a lot better shape then.
I was going to say that's pretty good, man.
That was 30 years ago. But you know what? With that, just real quick, it's all about how your arm placement, your takeoff. There's a lot of science that goes into that. But I did hit it once, so then I just had to hit it once. But the life insurance, is, not every single person. I think first off, guys, I think you need to lead from the front, right? I think if you're like most of us, like your personal production has to be extremely high. You have to be able to prove that it can be done. And I always was of the mindset that hopefully people do half of what I do. I would say be prepared that it's going to take more than you think. It's going to take more effort, more leads, more dials, more podcasts, more time in the driving, more time in the office, more time with your staff, more failures, more people saying no than you probably are anticipating. So I would say prepare yourself that it's going to take more than what you're thinking. And I think going into the 2020, I thought I had it dialed in perfect. We'll get this many hiring leads. We'll do this. And I just had it dialed in too perfect, where I should have prepared for more. This isn't, this life isn't practice. We only get one life. This isn't like a practice round. We can come back and do it again. So I wasted a lot of time, and I learned a lot in the automotive business, and I have some dear, dear lifelong friends from the automotive business, but it was a blessing that this type of opportunity was available.
Eric, thank you so much for sharing with us today, man.